Kenneth Faried went from signing a $50 million contract to being out of the league in just a few seasons. His rise and the tragic downfall are still being discussed, and people are asking what happened to him and how did he disappear so quickly. In this video, we'll unravel the series of events that happened to Faried to go from a key player on a 57-win team all the way to being out of the league. So let's get into it. In the aftermath of the Carmelo Anthony trade, the Nuggets went from a title contender and a conference finals team to a dynamic roster full of interesting young players. Lawson, Danilo Galinari, Brewer, Aflalo, and Rudy Fernandez among others. All exciting to watch despite being far from a championship level quality. So there was no pressure of competing for a title. Denver then added Kenneth Faried with the 22nd pick in 2011, and they immediately saw what they got.
Lawson, Faried's got it into Fernandez. Whoa! And Faried, his first 2 points as a Denver Nugget.
These are literally the first 2 points of Faried's NBA journey. He left a great first impression and became the fan favorite right from the jump. The crowd quickly got used to his top 10 worthy dunks and the monster blocks that showcased his insane athleticism. The nickname Manimal seemed fitting for a player looking and performing like this. One thing that everyone especially loved about him though was his effort. Even as an undersized big man at 6'8", Faried battled on both ends and often got double-digit rebounds. In the best game of his rookie season against Golden State, he exploded for 27 points and 17 rebounds in only 24 minutes of action. These are unbelievable numbers for basically one half of basketball. His energy and effort helped the Nuggets secure the 6th seed and go head-to-head in the playoffs against the Lakers. The Manimal played great and averaged a double-double for the series, and to everyone's surprise, Denver came back from 0-2 and forced a Game 7 against Kobe, Powell, and Bynum.
Late, the shin injury, and then, whoa! Kenneth Faried!
But the talent as well as the size of the Lakers prevailed at the end. However, despite the loss, admittedly to a better team, there was a lot of hope in this promising squad. That summer, the front office pulled the trigger on a trade to get Andre Iguodala, a big boost to an already solid roster. Faried started that season off great. He had some monster games including a 16-point and 20-rebound explosion, a season best for him, but also a 19-19 spectacle. He was posting phenomenal numbers. And as a sophomore, he even won the MVP of the All-Star Rookie Challenge game, scoring 40 points and 10 rebounds, and of course a lot of highlight dunks. So things were going great for him. But the Nuggets as a whole took some time to get into a rhythm, as they found themselves at the number 8 spot in the middle of January. But then Denver went on an unbelievable run of 31-6, steamrolling through the entire league. They looked unstoppable, especially at home with an astonishing record of 38-3 in Denver, the absolute best home court advantage in the NBA. Ending the season as the number 3 seed, suddenly the appetite grew and they were aiming for a deep playoff push. But the young Golden State Warriors team shattered their dreams, upsetting them in 6 games. Faried was solid for the series, but also struggled defensively against the lightning-quick playing style of the Warriors and was often in foul trouble. He had 2 games with 5 fouls and even fouled out in another game. It was tough. The loss prompted a lot of changes for Denver. They fired George Karl, who won Coach of the Year just a month earlier for the great season that he had with the Nuggets. They also couldn't re-sign one of their leaders in Andre Iguodala, who went to Golden State as a free agent. Brewer, another 12-point-per-game scorer, left and signed with Minnesota. And on top of that, an injured Galinari missed the entire season. So this was bound to be a down year for Denver. In a situation like that though, Faried thrived and had the best season of his career, averaging 13.5 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, and some more absolutely monster games. 24 points and 21 rebounds along with 5 assists against Utah, a complete all-around takeover from him. And against the Pelicans, Kenneth had 34 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 blocks, a career high in terms of scoring in another absurd display of his talent. Then against Golden State,
Faried with the shot, he scores with 0.5 seconds remaining. What a move by Kenneth Faried.
Hey, quick time out to announce the creation of my league where you can compete against me, thanks to today's sponsor, SoRare NBA. They've been supporting your boy, so you already know that it's a free-to-play, NFT-based basketball game, as well as a collection of digital trading cards. You start off with 20 common cards that they give you at sign-up, and you build your team and then compete against others to win higher-rated cards and other rewards. Here's a little reminder of how you get points. It's based on the player stats from the actual games, and if you want to boost those stats, like I do, you can get some higher rated cards off of SoRare's marketplace. You got limited, rare, super rare, and unique, all of which are worth more, bring you more points, and unlock higher levels of competition and rewards for you. And now you can enter my league and compete against me to win some prizes. In future game weeks, my limited tournament will have prizes like NBA gift cards, but you can always compete against me using only common cards in my common tournament. So click the link in the description and see if you're a better GM than me. Thanks SoRare for sponsoring this video. Despite Denver not making the playoffs, the entire league already noticed Faried, and that summer he even had a spot on Team USA for the World Cup, alongside superstars like Steph Curry, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. The Manimal won the gold medal with Team USA, but there was another life-changing experience for him that offseason. He signed a 4-year, $50 million contract with the Nuggets, solidifying himself as a key piece on this team and a valued player in the league. Faried continued his high-effort play on both ends, but the roster simply wasn't a playoff team. Denver was rebuilding, so they wouldn't make another playoff appearance in the near future. At the same time, in 2014, they drafted both Jusuf Nurkic and Nikola Jokic, who joined the team the following season. Two heavyweight big men who could be an anchor under the basket. There were still some flashes of brilliance for both Faried individually and Denver overall, but this was still far from a serious team ready for the postseason. Kenneth would miss games from time to time with nagging injuries, but in the 2016-2017 season, Faried suffered through a sore back which caused him to miss a lot of games. He played in 61 games overall, with averages of 9.5 points and 7.5 rebounds per game in 21 minutes of playing time. This is the beginning of the realization for Denver that Faried is not their main big man, both in terms of longevity as well as production. Injuries aside, the Manimal's game was strictly predicated on effort and not so much on skill. He did not have any reliable go-to move or a shot outside of the simple lay-in or a hook shot under the basket. Defensively, Faried wasn't a good enough one-on-one defender, couldn't really switch onto other players off screens, so that was also an issue with the explosion of lightning-quick guards who could shoot from anywhere. So his role shifted to the bench over his final 2 years in Denver, especially after the Nuggets signed Paul Millsap in 2017. That season, he appeared in just 32 games, partly due to injuries, but also straight-up coach's decision to not play him. The 6-point and 5-rebound average were by far his lowest in his career. At only 28 years of age, when he should have been entering his prime, Faried went from one of the more popular players in the league to barely playing. The next year, he was traded to the Brooklyn Nets, who waived him in the middle of that season. When the Rockets picked him up for the remainder of the year, there was some hope that Kenneth could get back to his old self, especially with Houston's preference for the small ball. And the numbers alluded to that, as Faried got back to 13 points and 8 rebounds per game in the remaining 25 games. But in the playoffs, where every possession matters and it's not about the individual's numbers but the efficiency and the team success, Faried couldn't stay on the floor. The game of course slows down in the postseason, so he couldn't get his easy dunks in transition, and defensively he couldn't guard well enough. So he played just 10 minutes per game in the first round against Utah and appeared in only one game for 5 minutes against Golden State in the second round. When the Rockets parted ways with him in the offseason, no team called with a decent offer, and shockingly, Faried found himself out of the league. He played in China in 2019, then Russia, before trying to fight his way back to the NBA through the G League. But not being able to do so, he then signed with a team in Mexico last year and is currently playing there. So ultimately, this is a bittersweet story of a player that couldn't stay in the league longer because of his lack of skill, but at the same time, he made it big strictly off of his will and effort. And that's the takeaway for me when talking about one of the most beloved characters in the NBA. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Talk to you in the next one. Peace out.